Okay, everybody, getting set up here. Just give me one more second. You know how it is. I got to start the stream, then I have to get something set up that I apparently can't do uh, any other time. Okay. Any other time. All right. Hold on a second. Okay. I think we're good to go. And, well, almost good to go. There's one more thing I've got to do. And almost. There we go. All right, we're done. Now I'm good. I'm good with everything here. So let's reach over and get our stuff here. I hope you guys, I got water, I got coffee. It's primarily for me, but if you guys want to take a sip, you can. You know, that's up to you. Let's get started here on getting started here. So I've got our cards. All right, give me just a second. It's been a minute since I've been outside. I might need to clean up just a little bit here, get it less dusty. So hold on one second, guys. Divine Focus, hello. Hopefully you guys are still there. I know I am. Squinting and everything. Squint Eastwood over here. Hey, Trixie. We got a little outdoor cat. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah, honey, I know. Oh, yeah, it's nice, nice, nice. It is, Hey, Kelly, how are you doing? Really good weather. Actually, it's... I'm wearing a sweater here, but I really don't need to be. Okay. I'm just getting this cleaned off, Trixie. She's letting me know. You guys probably can't see her, but, well, I can show you. No, Trixie. No, Trixie. No, well, all right. She's introducing herself to you guys. She loves coffee, just like me. So she might be trying to get into my coffee a little bit. It's cold where you're from. Whereabouts are you from, Divine Focus? We detect the tail. Well, you can... Hold on. Let me move some shit around here. Okay. There she is. Oh, angel number. Okay. Yeah, that's what Kelly was saying. 333. For me, it is, it's not an angel number. It's just 134 for me. Okay. Let's take a sip here and get ready for our... It gets cold in Jamaica? That would be, damn, I didn't know. I didn't know Jamaica got cold. I always thought it was kind of this paradise. Here it's, I don't have the temperature with me, but it's warm, and the sun's beating down on me if you guys can't see that. Alrighty. Let's move this over here. That make okay. Let's do. There we go. Alrighty, and then I do extremely hot during July and August. Ah, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Extremely hot here in the US too. I'm in Utah, so I can understand the July and August months. So here it gets blistering. Like uncomfortably hot. At least for me, but I'm a bit of a baby when it comes to weather. I tend to complain a little bit too much, maybe. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Forgot to put this in so you guys can hear me better, so hold on. Audio should improve in 3, 2, 1. Okay, hopefully I sound a little. Do this here. Again, you guys tell me if the audio sounds a little better after I put in the microphone, or if you guys can even hear me still. Hopefully you can, and I'm not just going. I've been guilty of doing that. I've been very guilty of it. Okay, so Lori says, why do people accept certain numbers are tagged to angels? It strikes me as not invoking one's critical thinking skills and accepting old wives' tales as facts. It's kind of one of the... Oh, what was that? Hold on. Perfect. I'm glad you guys can hear. Hold on one second. Trixie. No, hon. You're a good girl, but you are into everything. And my trash is clear out there. Alright, guys. I'm going to take off again. I'll be right back. My trash is just down the street. Like, not that far down, so give me 1 second. Join me, Trixie, on our adventure. I'll be coming back. I also got the mail. You guys are watching me. I should just have you guys watch me do basic household chores at this point. 1 more second, guys. Hold on. I am back. Fascinating. Okay, so yeah, so that's the thing. Angel numbers, I think, are interesting. I feel like anything can be, in the spiritual sense, anything can be, well, spiritual. Anything can mean something. Certain people have dates that they have in mind, and when they see that, it means something. I do think critical thinking is good, but a lot of spirituality, right? A lot of spirituality, in my opinion, dwells in the upper realm, right? And then when we bring a grounded approach to it, I feel like we have what I would call practical spirituality, where we can work on psychic abilities and where we can work on that. Yes, this is my natural habitat. This is it right here. Absolutely divine focus, absolutely. So it just depends on, in my opinion, right? And I'm going to keep saying that. Yes, anything can be spiritual if we designate it. So certain numbers, though, that to people is an easy access form to spirituality, because think about it, throughout the day, if you're working in the mundane world most of the day, to see 333, 1111, 1212, those kinds of numbers, they give significance to people in times of need, and it helps them to sometimes it helps them to cope, things like that. But I do believe there's power there, but only if we designate it as so. So certain people may see that, not understand it. Other people will be like, oh, okay. And then certain numbers have meanings. I mean, you guys know that, obviously. But that's kind of my approach. Okay. Let's take a sip here. There we go. Let's start shuffling here. Hey, Joe's Mystics. Thank you, Divine Focus. Wow. Tell you right there, someone was overcompensating with that truck and revving their engine. I'm just saying. Yeah, yes, the significance is individual and theoretical. The significance is objective, right? So each person, and that's how I think truth is as well, is that there's no absolute truth, but there's individual perceptions of what we view truth to be, and it's objective, generally. Spirituality, generally, is objective, or is subjective. Subjective. Anyway, I think you guys know what I'm trying to say. It's, to me, it's that kind of thing. It makes sense to me. And I'm going to say that. I'm going to say, to me, it makes sense to me. This is what I believe, because what I'm saying is not true for really anybody but me. It's stuff I've found out for myself. And if you guys think that sounds good, that's awesome. But it's always good to explore different beliefs, too. I want to give myself the freedom to change my spiritual beliefs whenever I want, instead of being locked into one way of thinking. Oh, thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You always bring a good energy on the channel, and I really do appreciate that. Okay, let's keep shuffling here. Let's give it a little bit of a little shuffly shuffle. Little shuffle ski for you. Okay. Let's see if we can move that camera just a little bit. Okay. Again, I'm looking like a little bit like a floating head up here. The Almighty Oz is going to be doing your readings for you. So get ready for a interesting ride. Okay, so Kelly, okay. At this point, okay, we're going to do donations. There's a stuff in the description. Stuff that sounds very vague, but there is stuff and things down in the description. There's a link. It says WLO, and it should link to everything else. There's one link that says support me. That's my PayPal. And then there's another one that says Cashapp. Either one of those I'll accept, and we can even do super chats. In fact, I'm super close to hitting the payout range, so if you guys want to do some super chats, we can do that instead. I need a few more readings, and then I can be qualified for a payout. Google AdSense gives you a payout when you hit a $100 threshold. So give me a second here. I'll be right back. I've got to grab a pen and paper and my phone and my portable charger. So I'm really sorry, you guys. Let's hope I come back in one piece at this point. All right, hold on. Ugh. It'd be a lot easier if the inside of my house was not a labyrinth. No, I'm just kidding. It's fairly easy. So, Kelly, how much are reading it? One question, $10. Three questions, 25. So yeah, I've got everything now. Or I should. Where can I move this closer here? Sorry about the sounds, guys. Whatever the opposite of ASMR is, that's what I was just doing, so you're welcome. There we go. There we go. So let's do some generals here. Lori says, I consistently find you to be refreshing, insightful, open-minded, down to earth, and an honor to come across your channel when you live stream. You are void of pretenses, and it is refreshing. Well, thank you. I learned that the hard way, talking with other people that were prominent spiritual people in their respective communities. Not going to say any names because that's not what this is about. But when I talked with them, I became increasingly disappointed with the fact that they reached a certain level and they decided that they didn't need to progress in any way past that. They decided that they knew all there was to know and that basically they were up above others. And I try to never do that. I'm not perfect at it, but I try. And Kelly, thank you. I got the 10 from you, and so I'm going to do this here. I've got one of these. This is really awesome for note-taking. So you have this. You got a front screen here. Come on. I don't even know if it's showing up. It's too dark. But then you can go like this. You can fold it out. And you have a full screen right here. Really good for note-taking. And so let me put the name down here. Okay, so you're going to see me doing some old man squinting. When I'm looking down, I'm trying to understand what the hell's going on. Okay. I'm working with a new setup, so if I do seem more scattered, that's why. Okay, so... No, Trixie. No, honey. Yeah. I know, hon, I know. Not right now, okay? I promise you'll get your pets. I know you're wanting love, honey, but you gotta wait a minute. Wait 1 second. Okay, Kelly, you're first up on the list. And do that. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All right, let's shuffle these cards here. 20 minutes in, and I have not shuffled yet. Wow. What is going on with me today, guys? What the hell? What the hell is going on? Little scattered. Little bit, how you say, spacey. Space cadet. So let's see what we can do here. Shuffle a couple more times. Nice crispy, good shuffle. We're gonna give it a nice little shuffle to one more time, two more times. We have that one, and then I know you guys want an encore, so that's why we're doing another one. Let's shuffle one more time. I know you want up here. All right then, come on. There we go. All right, you got to stay there though. If you're gonna, you got to be a good girl. Got to stay right there. Ah. Leave it to a cat to claw your nipple. Happens every time. Okay. So, what energies are we dealing with this week with the people that are watching this? What kind of energies are we talking about here? So, let's look. That card keeps coming up. And I'll show you guys here in just a second. Can you imagine I just say that card keeps coming up and I never mention what the hell's going on? So we have this card, and in particular, okay, we keep getting the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. I'm wondering if you guys can see that, because on my end, it's super bright out here, and so it's hard to see, but I think you guys can see this. So Queen of Coins in reverse. And then we have the Knight of Swords. And then we have Wheel of Fortune. Sometimes it's known as the Chance card, and that always makes me giggle like a little girl. So there's that. My name's Chance, in case you guys didn't know. Hi, how are you? I'm confused. Thanks. All right. So, Queen of Coins in reverse, Knight of Swords, Wheel of Fortune. So, Wheel of Fortune is an interesting card because the Wheel of Fortune, it sounds like it's a positive card, but it's neither positive nor negative. It just talks about progression. And progression is neither positive nor negative. It's perception that makes it so. So, when we're talking about the Wheel of Fortune, things are moving. Things are moving, which can be a good thing. When I see Queen of Coins in reverse and then I see Knight of Swords, we could have extreme ways of thinking with financial circumstances. Or we could feel like our physical reality, our physical environment is not conducive to our mental well-being. But there's something here where we're talking about extreme ways of thinking. Okay, extreme ways of thinking coming from the Knight of Swords. Generally, this card by itself, I would view as working through situations and problems, maybe being a little too eager or over analytical. But when it's next to the Queen of Coins in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune, that's also in reverse, I forgot to tell you guys that part. When it's next to those two cards, it feels like we're progressing, but maybe it feels like we're degressing. Like it feels like we're taking steps backwards. Sometimes, though, you guys, we need to go back to the foundation. We need to repair kind of the damage that's gone on in the foundation because little tiny ass termites, they get in there and they like to eat. And sometimes we need to replace certain things. Hey, Eamon MZ, how are you doing, buddy? So that's what I'm talking about. So this right here is going to be talking about. I view the Queen of Coins or any of the Pentacle cards as we can be talking about health. Okay, we can be talking about wealth. All right. I don't have a third thing. Felth, I guess. I don't know. Stealth. No. But we're talking about health and wealth when I look at this card. When it's in reverse, though, it could feel like we're coming out of an episode where there's kind of a lack of mentality, right? And we're looking at how to change that. So some of us could be looking at going into the new year with a new way of viewing finances, with a new way of viewing, I guess, physical health too. Maybe we could be starting a lifestyle change, or we could be doing something here. Like I've always said, get rid of what does not spark joy, right? And sometimes we have a hard time letting go. When we let go to let new things in, that's the only way new things can come, is to let go of the things that no longer serve us. But the problem is our identity gets attached. Our identity gets attached to these things. And we become very biased with our own story, right? Who doesn't want themselves to win? Who doesn't want themselves to be taken care of and lucky? And so we define ourselves by our objects or by personal events that have happened to us, and to let go of some of those things feels like we're letting go of our identity. It feels like we're letting go of ourselves. And so, yeah, let's do these cards here, though. Let's get a little more context into this. Because everyone knows, okay, January 1st, it is a good time to make New Year's resolutions and then just ignore them completely. So, that's always fun to do. I like to see how long I can last before I disappoint myself. I'm sure you guys understand that. I think everyone's had that. Let's set a goal, and then let's watch how far away we are from it. But the thing that we need to do is we need to set realistic goals. We need to do what's called chunking, or we need to set bite-sized goals. Because that's how we find success. By making these huge, big aspirations, we are trying to be perfectionists. And when we ultimately fail, we'll be very hard on ourselves, and we shouldn't be doing that. So make smaller little goals that can lead towards a bigger change, because many small little goals can equal one big goal when you combine them. But we have to start small. We have to start little. Okay. All right, so we have fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael in reverse. We have broken heart in reverse. And then I'm going to read these here, but seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel in reverse. Okay, so to further elaborate on this reading, let's do this. We've got Queen of Coins in reverse, as we saw earlier. Okay, and then we have fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael in reverse, and that's one that's been coming up a lot too. Yesterday this one came up, I feel like, quite a bit. So when we look at this one in reverse, it definitely feels like We could be going through a heartache of some kind. We could be going through a difficult kind of situation. And that's not fun to go through. Obviously that's not fun to go through. But this is feeling like we're going through a difficult time. We're going through a hard time. And maybe we're not feeling understood, or like other people can understand where we're coming from. So it makes it hard to this could be where it can be hard for us to be kind to others because we're not getting kindness in our environment, right? And so that could be something going on here. Hold on. There we go. So I can understand that. I can definitely understand if that's the case because I've okay. Here we go. All right. She doesn't hold still. It's a little hard to do these readings when you have a kitten that does not want to hold still. Okay, so then we have Knight of Swords and we have Broken Heart in reverse. This is good. This is good because it could mean that we're stopping ourselves from self-sabotaging, or we're trying to set new goals or new aspirations for ourselves. Okay, so this is something where we're going to be trying not to break our own heart, so to speak, or we're coming out of a period where maybe we do this thing where we become victimized and we feel like everything else around us is much harder than it actually is, because sometimes we get attached to the pain. And for us to step up and rise out of that kind of mentality, it takes courage, it takes effort. And it's not something that's easy. It's not. I've done it too, many, many times. We say this situation is too big for me to understand or too big for me to handle. And there's a lot that we can handle. We just have to be in a circumstance where we can understand and we can look at it more objectively. All right. We have Wheel of Fortune in reverse right here. And then we have 7th Chakra, Archangel Uriel right here. And that one's also in reverse. So 7th Chakra, we're dealing with spirituality. We're dealing with the spiritual kind of world. This can be spiritual gifts. This can be purpose. This can be kind of a higher calling, you could say. And what this means here is that, to me, maybe we feel like we're not making progress with our spiritual abilities, or maybe we feel like we're not making progress in a way that I guess is progressive, right? Because generally speaking, we are on a straight line. This is how humans think. This is how I think. We're on a straight line here, and we have ups and we have downs. And sometimes when we feel like we're going down, we feel like we're losing something. But in the spiritual community, in the spiritual world, your gifts will go up and they will go down. They ebb and flow. And that needs to be something that we normalize and say, if we're having a day where we're not feeling it. I have days where if someone wanted to, I couldn't predict my way out of a paper bag, okay? I have those kinds of days. And I don't do my lives on those days, so you guys don't get to see what that looks like. But sometimes we lose the intuition ability. And I feel like when we do, for a second, I feel like it's time for us to be normal. It's time for us to sort of normalize and not constantly be up in the ethers, because if we're constantly up in the ethers, then we're not being present in the moment, and sometimes we need to bring our focus back to a level reality. Okay, so realize that the ups and downs of spiritual abilities, being there, leaving, being stronger, feeling lesser than, that's normal. And you, as you get more skilled and you get more proficient with your abilities, that becomes less of a factor, but there will still be times where it's very affected. And really, depending on situations or circumstances that are going on in our life, it can absolutely color how our abilities are looking. If we're emotionally charged, if we're very emotionally charged about a situation and we're trying to do a reading for somebody, that's generally not a good time to do a reading for someone, because we're emotionally charged and we could read biases into someone else's reading. We want to be neutral, if anything. We want to be neutral and in a state of curiosity with the person we're doing a reading with. So, yeah. All right, so let me move this along here. And I'm actually going to do this here. So, Kelly, would you want to ask your question? And then we can go from there. And by the way, thank you so much for the donation, Kelly. I do appreciate that. You've been on here many times, and I appreciate all the support you've given. Okay. All right, hold on here. All right, let's take a little drink here. Awesome, general reading. Okay. Some of my favorite readings are the general ones. So, let's see what we can do for you, my friend. Let's do this. Let me start with the energy cards here first, just because I'm feeling like that's going to give us a little bit more insight. So, what does Kelly need to know for her general reading? Okay, and I'm asking, you could say I'm asking the spirit of the cards, or I'm asking the universe, source energy. I mean, you could even say God if you wanted to. But I find that there's a lot that guides these readings that has nothing to do with me. I'm just the vessel. I'm just the vessel for the knowledge. Okay, let me do this here. Shuffle a couple more times. That one was a little fizzled out. So let's see if we can get a good shuffle going on here, guys. Wish me luck, and... there we go. One more of those. And we're in business here. Let's see what we can do. One more. There we go. All right, so Kelly, let's see what we get here. Boom. 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 Okay. So, hey, Vanita Sardar, hopefully I'm saying your name right. It's $10 for one question, or three questions for 25. So if you feel like you want to do that, or that's something you feel comfortable with, let me know. I don't do free readings. Yeah, so we have Goddess of the Moon in reverse. We have third chakra Archangel Shamul in reverse. And then we have All Tied Up in reverse. So, and if you look at this card here, again, I'm hoping you guys can see this okay. I think you can. All Tied Up, if you look at her face and you look at kind of what's going on, she seems like she could get out of this situation. She doesn't seem particularly bothered necessarily, but it seems like something she could get out of. But she's in this situation. So when I see this in reverse, it could be that we're stepping out of a situation where maybe... No, Kelly, this isn't a bad reading. Not at all, okay? I'll explain here. I'll do the homework, right? The teachers talk about. I'm going to show you the work that I put in here. So Goddess of the Moon in reverse could be that maybe we're not listening as much to source, or we're not listening as much to maybe our own intuition, okay? And what this can mean is that sometimes there can be something that happens in our environment, and we will tend to say, that's not what's actually happening, or this isn't what's actually happening. And we'll try to put a different narrative on things that are already happening in our life when the narrative right there is kind of spelled out in front of us. It's not a bad thing, because generally speaking, the people that do this, the people that have this kind of mentality, are very good and kind people. And we're generally working through boundaries, we're working through a bunch of different things. This isn't a bad thing to have. What we're doing with the cards here is we're seeing areas we can improve. Not areas where I'm calling you out and I'm saying, you're doing this wrong, because you're not. I feel like there's progression here. I do feel progression. I don't feel like we're taking steps back, but I feel like we're hitting new roadblocks. And it's good when those roadblocks come up, because then we can learn how to cross over them, right? Okay, so third chakra, Archangel Shamul in reverse, okay? So the third chakra, the solar plexus chakra, this is related to fire, this is related to purpose and willpower. And generally this is the chakra that's used a lot for mediumship readings and stuff like that. So spirit likes to communicate through the stomach, through the heart, and through the mind. At least that's how it works for me. Sometimes through the armpit, don't ask questions. But no, seriously, about the stomach, we have a lot of emotions, we have a lot of feelings that go on here. So the solar plexus has that kind of energy. Now, when this is in reverse, it could be that maybe we feel like we're hitting obstacles that are more difficult for us to overcome, or it could feel like it's hard for us to move forward with the things we want to do, because maybe it feels like those things are bigger than what we thought they would be. Okay? That always happens with me. I start a project and then I realize, wait a minute, it's a little bit bigger than I thought it was. But given time and given the circumstance, we can sidestep or we can overcome any of these obstacles. But it's important for us to realize when we're experiencing a difficulty so that we can kind of power through it. When I see the third chakra, Archangel Shamul, in reverse, it's learning how to understand our willpower and learning that going after what we want is not a bad thing and it's not selfish. In fact, the only way that we can be there for other people is when we decide to be there for ourselves first. For us to truly be there for other people and to help them on their own life journey, we have to be there for ourselves first, and we have to know what that looks like. And so right now, I feel like you're given an opportunity to be there for yourself, to be gentle, and to say, this is what's going on in my life, and I don't want you to view it as good or bad, because we're missing the point. If we view it as good or bad, we're missing the point of the progression here, right? So let's look at this, right? So, and I can give you an example of looking at things as good and bad, all right? So let's say you have a toothache, all right? You have a toothache. That's bad for you, but that's good for a dentist, right? Because then they get paid, they get money. So there's nothing here that's good or bad. Again, perception makes it so. Each thing that we're moving on to here, depending on how we approach it, how we go after it, it's neither good nor bad. It's experience, and that's how we grow in this world. And we generally don't grow when we're comfortable. We have to be uncomfortable. We have to have these kinds of situations happen. When we're uncomfortable, we grow. Okay. I'm glad you find that interesting. Okay, so we have all tied up here. All right. All tied up in reverse. To me, this is you making attempts to get things going. This is you making attempts to get things going. Maybe it feels like it's harder for us to get things started, but I do feel like there's progress here. But maybe we're holding ourselves to a certain standard. A lot of times in the spiritual world, there's this sense of needing to be like, I did this to myself. I did this to myself all the time, and sometimes I still do. Where I want to be at this skill level in my spiritual abilities. I want to be like so and so. I look at so and so and I say I want to be like them. But a lot of the times with mediums and with and with spiritual people in any capacity, what we see is we see them when they're established, when they put themselves out there. We see them as being more established, and we compare ourselves to someone who's had a lot of training where we're just kind of starting out, and that's already going to set us at a disadvantage. Because if we're comparing ourselves to James Van Praagh or to Gordon Higginson or whoever it happens to be, we're making it so that we don't see our own gifts and abilities, and each person's soul expression, that is spiritual abilities, are going to be very different from another person's soul expression or spiritual abilities, okay? Soul expression, solar plexus, right? Solar plexus in this instance is spelled S-O-L, which means the sun, but I'm also talking about S-O-U-L, the soul expression, okay? Okay, and everyone is different, right? Right, self-identity description. So that can be something that we're talking about here. And I feel like you're trying to work on that. Because here's something here. You know this about yourself. You already know this about yourself, and so it's not like we're ignoring it. We understand that we're this way. Hi, Kayanat Bakari. Hopefully I said that name right. But I can understand the self-sabotage. I've done it too many times, and sometimes I still do it. The thing is, we're not supposed to be perfect at what it is we're doing. We're not supposed to be perfect at that. What we're supposed to be is progressing, evolving. That's when we're making progress. And if it seems like we're failing and we get back up and we try again, we're not actually failing. We're succeeding, but at a slower pace, right? Failure makes it so that we can stand up again, brush ourselves off, and try again in a different way, and eventually there's success, right? And hey, everybody. Thank you guys for coming on here. Please remember to like and subscribe if you guys wouldn't mind. I'd really appreciate it. And it's $10 a question, or $10 for a general reading. And it's $25 for 3 questions. Or if you want a longer kind of general reading, we can do that. I don't do free questions. I do appreciate the subs, though. That really does help me. You guys can see how I'm working with Kelly here and then decide if that's something you want to do. Okay. So this to me is something where I'm feeling like we are making steps, we're making progress. I'm going to get some more cards here and see what I can do. All right. Let's do a couple more of these as I look like Squint Eastwood, you know. Get out of my way, punk, or whatever it is he says. I don't know. Let's do a couple more shuffles here. There we go. There we go. Couple more shuffles. A little bit shuffling. All right. And also, Spirit likes it when we approach life with a sense of humor. A sense of humor helps a lot, and it helps bring in spirit. It helps raise the energy. I'm telling jokes on here and being a little bit of a jackass / asshole sometimes because it helps lift the vibration. Humor helps. Dad humor doesn't, but that's all I got. So let's see what we can do here. Okay. Another sippity drink here. Okay. Weird little digging noises going on in the left side, and it just sounds kind of weird, but Goddess of the Moon in reverse. Underneath that we have the Wheel of Fortune, and this is upright. Now, like I said earlier in the reading, the Wheel of Fortune is progression through the act of moving, not progression through the act of a positive step or a negative step. It is progression. And I've given you guys the parable of the farmer before, the Chinese farmer. If you guys want to hear that again, let me know. I will find it and I will read it to you. But I've done it before, and I figure you guys probably don't want to hear that again. But the Wheel of Fortune, right here, is progression. And a lot of times on our journey in life, on our journey in anything, we're going to have moments that seem very negative, seem very bad, but it turns out that they were good things. We're also going to have moments that seem very good. Turns out it was bad. Let's see. No, Kelly, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. In fact, in my opinion, okay, I'm going to keep saying that. In my opinion, when we're talking about naming conventions for spirits, for guides, for anything like that, it doesn't matter what you call it. What matters is your heart, how you feel it, how you experience it, and what you do with it. That's what matters. The name is a human thing. Humans like to name, humans like to label, but spirit doesn't work in that way. The universe, source, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't work that way. As long as you call upon it, you're sincere, that's good enough. And even if it's hard for you to be sincere, even if it's difficult, spirit, source, whatever, wants to be there and it wants to help us in whatever way it can. And naming or not naming, it doesn't matter. You could literally just call it higher power. You could call it spirit energy. You could call it the all-knowing super force, or any one of the things. Powerpuff Girls. I don't know. The point is, as long as you're using it, and you're using it to better yourself, and you're using it to help other people and to help better their journey too, it doesn't matter what we call it. Okay, so then we have third chakra, Archangel Shamul in reverse, and we have this card. You'll notice the guy here. I see Tom Hanks from Castaway when I look at this card. Okay, and I know I say that about every card, but in this case right here, you'll notice he has his hand up, and you'll see that there's these wands right here that are kind of coming in from these different angles. And so it could be that as we're expressing our spiritual ability, as we're learning how to express our self-expression, we could feel that other people don't understand us, and some people might actually go out of their, it seems like they go out of their way to misunderstand things that we're saying. And that's on them. There are certain people that when we start realizing our own power and our own divinity, they will literally look at us and say, yeah, that's stupid. You're gross. You're disgusting. And it's because they don't have that within themselves. You could call it jealousy. You could call it narcissism. Whatever you want to call it. There will be certain people that will never understand us, and it's not our job to make them understand us. It's not our job. If people want to view us a certain way, Okay, you know, um, I was scared to death when I first started doing this on YouTube. I'm almost at 500 videos that I've uploaded. And when I was starting out, I think it's 5 years ago, scared to death that someone would say something. And you know what? People did. People did. People did say some stuff. And it was hurtful. And it was not fun to experience. But at the end of the day, those same people that comment or those people that do that kind of stuff, you go to their profile page, they have no videos. You go to their, you look at what they're doing and they have no right to judge. But people will judge. People will judge and they'll pass judgment because it gives them that kind of dopamine fix. It gives them a sense of like, oh, I've got power over this person. I can make this person feel this way or this way. The best thing to do is remain as neutral as possible during these kinds of situations. And I know it can hurt. I know we have insecurities and we feel like people can just press on those things and we'll kind of crumble. Eventually, though, it gets easier to understand that whenever someone else is giving you shit, okay, they're pulling that from themselves. There was a there was a quote that I feel like is really good, and it is this, okay? People people cannot give you something that's not from their own fridge, okay? And as weird as the fridge sounds, it's a food analogy, of course it is. But what I'm talking about is this: if someone has hate inside of their fridge, they have hate food inside of their fridge, or they have just hate in general, they're going to give you hate. That has nothing to do with you. That has absolutely nothing to do with you. That's them. But of course, it feels personal because it is. It hurts. It's not fun to go through. But people that are shitty will give you shitty feedback. It's as simple as that. People that are kind and polite and nice, hopefully, will give us constructive criticism, and that's a good thing. No, no, Trixie, no, honey. She's scratching stuff. Don't want that. No, Trixie, honey. Okay. Oh, guys, if you're thinking of having a kitten, do it. But for the love of God, know what you're getting into. Okay, anyway. All right. So, that's primarily what we're talking about here. Other people may not understand us. Eventually you get the FU attitude, okay? And that sounds selfish, that sounds like a bad thing, but eventually you'll start to put yourself first and realize if you don't put yourself first, nobody else is. Nobody else is going to do that. And once we understand that power and we start using that, it gets a lot easier. It gets a lot easier to understand that. You're very welcome, Kelly. We have this one here, all tied up in reverse. All tied up, hold on, there we go. All tied up in reverse, okay? And then we have Knight of Coins, all right? Here's what I'm seeing right here, Kelly, when it comes to being a successful spiritual practitioner. When it comes to being a successful spiritual practitioner, it is not about making money. Eventually, that can be a side effect of what happens. But the way I view what I do is making money, I need it to live. That is very true. But I also want to help people. I also want to have that be something. And a lot of times, especially when we're starting out, if we're not making money or if it's something that's harder for us to do, we can view ourselves as failures. But really, what happens is we need to practice first, and then we ask for money later on when we feel a little more established, when we feel a little more confident. And at first, when you ask for money or when you're putting yourself out there and hoping to get financially compensated, it's difficult, and that's kind of part of the game. That's absolutely part of the game. I've done so many, and I mean so many free readings that I know that I'm worth more than that now. I know in my heart that I'm worth more than free readings. And eventually you'll see that too. But we have to understand our gift and we have to start establishing it and learning something new each day. She's hunting something over there. Learning something new each day is going to help us to better understand the spiritual world, but also as a side effect, it's going to help us understand ourselves much better, because that's the whole thing. Anything that we learn in a spiritual way is symbolic and it relates to us in so many ways. The subconscious is literally just symbols. That's it. And tarot, spirituality, movies, different things can be sources of inspiration. And if whatever we feel that inspires us, that puts us in that place, keep following that path. Because generally speaking, where we feel inspired, that's where our soul expression is going to be coming out. That's the whole thing we want. And as weird as it sounds, right? Some people have certain knacks for, I mean, if I can, you guys wouldn't mind if I gave you some more examples, would you? I feel like I'm monologuing sometimes, and so I want to make sure people are okay with me giving some examples. Okay. Let's see something here. Hold on one second, my friends here. Okay. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to say this. There's a bunch of different mediums, a bunch of different spiritual practitioners. Okay. Awesome, Kelly. Thank you. So there's a bunch of different mediums and different spiritual practitioners. Okay, and I talk about mediums because that's something that I'm passionate about. That's something I want to learn. Um, but there's one medium in particular, and his skill set was he was a postmaster general, or he was someone that was in the post, giving people their mail, right? He knew routes, he knew addresses, and because of his knowledge and his interest in routing and in the addresses and in stuff like that, when he would do a mediumship, um, it's kind of like a presentation. Why can't I remember? Anyway, he would do mediumship for a bunch of people that would be around this town, and what he could do is he could tell, because the spirit was able to give addresses. The spirit that he was talking to he was able to hear addresses, and he was able to tell where people lived next to each other and say, this was your neighbor, this was someone over here. His name was Albert Best, and his skill set that he developed was addresses, zip codes, and stuff like that. And because of that, he was able to give spiritual information that was dealing with addresses and things like that. Whatever we're interested in, spirit is going to use that to communicate moving forward. Okay, for me, you got video games, you got tarot, some movies, okay, sometimes music, but spirit uses those things to communicate their messages because they're things that I understand. And so spirit will come through to you in ways that you will understand them. And eventually, when we get better and better at understanding it, the messages can become more and more clear. But that comes in time as well. So Kelly, does that help answer your question? It all comes through. It all comes through when we're ready for it. And the way it comes through, the way these spiritual abilities also come through, is through um, we need to be relaxed. We need to be, if we can't be in a very like loving, super high vibration kind of way, what we can be instead is we can be curious. When we are curious about spirit or about psychic or about that kind of realm, it makes it so that we can bring it closer to us. Curiosity is the universe's way of opening a door so that we can understand things from a different perspective. Curiosity is the opposite of being closed off. As soon as we're closed off, we're not going to be able to give messages as well. We're just not. And we need to work on relaxing, possibly getting into different states of consciousness, which comes with practice. But all of it takes time, and yeah, I just want you to know that I think you're doing well, but hopefully this helps give you some insight. Okay. All right, does anyone else want to do a question? If not, I am happy to yak your guys' ears off. It sounds gross when I yak your ears off, but it's fairly pleasant, I promise. Let's switch things up a little bit. Yes, curiosity. Okay, there's like 5 things. Curiosity, in my opinion, curiosity is the sister emotion to appreciation, love, and gratitude. Curiosity is the close relative to those things. And if for some reason we cannot be super loving and we're not able to be in that place, what we can be is curious, because it opens up the door for us to kind of communicate through. All right. Now we're switching things up a little bit. We're going to start having some coffee here. And for some reason, this stuff stays super hot for a really long time. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. You're very welcome, Kelly. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, so with that being said, I'll give you some jazz hands, some fingers, or whatever. I don't know what the hell this is, but apparently I do this a lot. Okay. Anyway, let's shuffle some cards here and let's see what else we can have. What other kind of energies are we talking about for this week? Kind of general stuff. You guys, at any point in time, you want to interrupt and be like, I want my paid reading. Trust me, we'll give you answers. It will be accurate. It will be good and tasty and ready for you guys to digest. Promise you that. Okay. Shiftlety shufflety. Let's see what we got. And remember to like and subscribe too, guys. I'd appreciate that. Helps the channel grow. And helps me to, well, it helps me to keep doing what I'm doing. Alright, what are we looking for coming into this next little bit here? Let's look at the energy coming up for the next 2 or 3 days, and let's see what we got here. Okay. Alrighty, we'll have another hour here that I'll be doing this live. And so yeah. Let's see what we can come up with here. Shuffle them cards. And remember, if you like the video, also remember to tickle the bell icon down below. Give it a little tickle, make it giggle. So you guys can be notified and eventually ignore me when I go live. Because I'm going to be doing it a lot. You guys are going to be like, damn. Okay, one more shuffle. There we go. Okay. Okay, so let's move these cards over here. Let's do this. Okay, so we have... Okay, we have the Angel of Balance in reverse right here. Shouldn't have clipped my nails. Trying to grab these cards on a glass surface is more difficult than you'd think. Okay, we have the Angel of Balance in reverse. We have Door to Spirit upright. Alright. The Door to Spirit is open so you can hear it. And then we have Door to Value in reverse. Okay. Angel of Balance in reverse. So I would read this as feeling unbalanced, right? Feeling like maybe life is swaying left and right, and it's hard for us to stop the pendulum that keeps swinging back and forth. And so we could be in a situation where it's hard for us to stabilize. It's hard for us to understand exactly what's going on, okay? And this is normal. As weird as that sounds, to be in a state of flux and to be kind of confused and to be kind of, well, just wondering what the hell. That's normal. That's a normal place to be because it means you're growing and you're evolving. When we're confused, it generally means we're doing something new, or it means that we're experiencing something new, right? So being confused and uncomfortable, as bad as it sounds, not too bad of a place to be, actually. Okay, so then we have Door to Spirit right here. So Door to Spirit, to me, is just that. It's door to source energy. It's a door to... So when we're talking about spirit, we can be talking about things that inspire us. We can be talking about inspiration. We can be talking about focusing more on the things that, like I said, the things that inspire us. We don't need to focus on things that inspire other people, right? What makes our soul light up? What makes us feel that sense of like interest or intrigue, right? That's going to be what we're looking at here. So let's look at this one as well, and then I'll kind of read this all together. Door to value in reverse. Okay. Door to value in reverse is maybe not feeling like we're in a place where we can, maybe we feel like we shouldn't be where we're at. Okay. There can be something going on here where we could feel like we're in a situation that maybe we're successful, or maybe there's something going on, but we don't necessarily see our value the same way other people do. And so we're trying to understand what other people see in us. I'm sort of feeling like this could be some people feeling like they're frauds in some ways, trying to convince themselves that the only reason they're in this situation, or the only reason these people hang out with them, is because they have this thing or this thing or this thing, instead of focusing on congratulating themselves for the progress that they've made in just kind of living and existing. Because people can like us for no reason. They can also hate us for no reason. It's not up to us, is it? It's kind of the way people want to do things. So let's look a little bit deeper here. Hopefully you guys can't hear the dogs howling, and if you can, if you think of it like an orchestra, like an impromptu kind of thing, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. All right. You guys ever just want to live kind of off grid, but still have really good Wi-Fi? That's where I'm at. That's definitely where I'm at. I want to live where the trees are big, the people are minimal, and the Wi-Fi is good, but kind of hard to find that. And you know what's something that's really interesting too? Growing up, especially for me, I'm a 90s kid. Growing up, I really thought quicksand was going to be a much bigger thing than it turned out to be. Because, man, growing up, quicksand was everywhere. And I'm realizing now that I really don't have to worry about it as much as I thought I did. Not nearly as much as I thought. I've had those 3 quicksand experiences, but after that, I've never had an issue. So it's kind of like... I'm a smartass if you guys didn't know. Nice to meet you. Alright, so let's move these cards over here. Let's see what we got. Okay. Another sip of the coffee. Okay. So we have Angel of Balance in reverse. 6 of Swords in reverse. Where we are feeling imbalanced, but we don't know where to find our balance. Okay. 6 of Swords upright is a card of searching, card of wandering, card of... It's kind of like the Hermit card in a way, but it's not necessarily searching alone. There can be other people searching with us for whatever it happens to be. But primarily it's a card of wanting to discover the self, maybe not knowing where to look, where to go. Though what's funny about uncovering or discovering ourself is that we don't need to gain something to discover ourselves. Instead, we need to learn what we are not and uncover that to get to ourselves. What I'm saying is society, parents, different things, they put a lot of shit in our heads that is not true, especially to living a fulfilling life. And we need to uncover all those things. We need to dig and uproot all of those beliefs, all those things that don't serve us. And when we do that, and we do that more and more, we start uncovering who we are as a person. We start kind of peeling back that layer, and we start understanding ourselves as individuals. And once we understand ourselves as individuals, we can start to like ourselves more, or even love ourselves, because we're building up our sense of self-esteem. And one of the main tenets towards having good self-esteem is being in line with what you believe in. But sometimes we don't even know what we believe in. And so it's important to question things and to challenge. It's not a bad thing. In fact, questioning things and challenging things, that's what we should be doing. But we've been told our whole lives, don't do that. Don't do that. And then you say, why? Because it's rude. It's rude. Don't ask questions. Man, I was that kid. I would ask questions to the point that people didn't... they didn't like it, but I still did it, you know? I was really loud, too. My voice was not properly proper volume for a lot of situations. If I could whisper yell. That's kind of the way I would describe my voice back then. Okay. So, we have, shoot, spilled a tiny drop of coffee here, so I'm just trying to move that. Okay. We have the Four of Wands in reverse. Okay. With Door to Spirit up above there. So I'll show you that card here. All right, and when we're looking at Door to Spirit in reverse and Door to Spirit upright and Four of Wands in reverse. Okay. So Door to Spirit, again, that's opening up to source energy. That's allowing ourselves to hear the subtle messages of the etheric realm or the spiritual realm, whatever you'd want to call it. Four of Wands in reverse. Four of Wands is kind of a foundational card. I view it as possibly working together towards a project or working together as a team. But when I see this in reverse, maybe we're feeling like other people don't quite get us. They don't quite understand us. And maybe outgrowing those people can scare us, right? We feel like some people need to be in our lives forever, but it's not up to us to make that choice. And I understand separation can hurt. I understand that separation is not something fun to go through. But at the same time, we can no more decide who comes in and out of our lives than anything else, right? It's not up to us. And sometimes we hold on and we cling to people that have kind of outlived their purpose in a way. And I know that sounds kind of mean, but some people are in our lives just to teach us a lesson, and then we can move on from there. But sometimes we get bonded to the person. Sometimes we get bonded to these people that have served their purpose. They've taught us the lesson. We don't need them in our lives anymore because now they're just reteaching us a painful lesson over and over and over again. And it's difficult for us to separate from that because we can go through a period of feeling lonely. But I'll let you in on a secret, right? I've felt the most alone that I've ever felt in my life when I was surrounded by people that did not understand me at all. Okay? The path of loneliness is one that I feel like eventually you learn to be comfortable with feeling alone, and eventually you'll attract people that will be in your life and will be something of a positive force. But sometimes you have to go it alone for a while, and that's not a bad thing. It's bad if we haven't been alone with ourselves because we don't know what that means. You know, it's kind of like don't leave me with my thoughts. But eventually it gets easier. It does get easier to understand. Okay, so we have the Five of Coins in reverse. And then funnily enough, we have the Door to Value in reverse right here too. I say funnily enough because both of these cards are talking about either finances or it could be physical health as well. And as we're looking at that, especially in this scenario, it's really important for us to realize that our value does not lie in what other people think of us. We've been told through society, and because probably we're people pleasers and we're perfectionists, but we've been told by society that other people and how they view us is the most important thing. It's not. Not even a little bit. In fact, think of it like this. When people are out there, they're living their lives, they're being free, ultimately, they don't give a shit. They don't care. And it's hard to have that attitude at first, but the more we understand boundaries, the more we understand about personal development, it gets easier and easier. It does. And then eventually you break through a barrier that was a long time coming. But when I see this card in reverse, it's letting other people decide our value. Okay, we are not in an economic situation where someone can appraise us and then other people get to decide if we're worth this or that. Humans in general do that, but we are not an economic supply. We are not anything like that. We are humans, and we're uniquely qualified to be whatever the hell we want. And if we put a price or we put a value on that, we're limiting ourselves greatly. And other people do that. Some people can be scared of the kind of potential that they see in you, and some people will try to put that light out. Some people will do that. Again, though, that's something that they're going through. It's not your job to fix them. It's not your job to do anything that way. But that's something they're going through, and let them go through it. Let them do that. Let them self-destruct or whatever it is they're going to do. And it sounds cold, It may sound cold, it may sound mean, but I'm saying it in the way of you finally going out there and living your life and not giving a shit, not caring anymore, because the reason why we care is because, and the reason why we hold ourselves back is because we care. We care too much about what people think, and it's time for us to take a step back and care too much about what we think. It's not being selfish, it's actually being self-empowered. And anyway, that was a spiel going on there, but you tell me, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of that? If you have anything to say. Because I'm going to be taking a sip of this. I'm probably going to finish off this coffee right here. Ooh, that was a lot of coffee. I don't know why I did that. Big boy sips, I guess. All right. Don't ask me why I always have liquids. I don't know either. I'm not really sure. They're tasty, though. This is electrolyte water. Ultima, I think, is the brand of this one. And this is the lemonade flavor. Really good. Really good. All right, come on. You want to come up? Come on. I'm saying you can do it now. There we go. Okay. We had her fixed not too long ago, and she recovered like a champ. She is such a sweetheart. This is little Trixie, if you guys don't know. And still a very young cat. Not quite a kitten in the sense of like super small, but has that energy for sure. Okay. Alright, so let's do this here. I'm going to shuffle these cards up here, and we're going to hang them. There we go. Get yourself laid down. Get comfortable. She is purring like you wouldn't believe. She is always a little purr baby. There we go. Hi, Rada. So I don't do free questions. It's $10 a question or 3 questions for 25. But if you feel like that's something you'd want to do, we can absolutely do that. Okay, so I'm going to take a drink here. Okay. All right. So, how are you doing, honey? I'm thinking, you guys, unless someone wants to come on here and pay for a reading, if anyone wants to come on here and do a reading, hi, Alina, how are you doing? Hopefully I said your name right. Is this your first time on the channel? If not, I'm sorry. I try to remember names. You think with a forehead this big, I could retain some knowledge, but it just slips right out when it comes to names. Okay. Oh. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So, Alina, I imagine you came on because you have a question in mind. You have something you're wondering about. And it's up to you on what you would want to do. I don't do free questions. It's $10 for 1 question or 3 questions for 25. But I get answers. I'm accurate. And yeah, that's up to you if that's something that you want to do. Okay. All right, everyone. So, unless we get something here, I'm thinking. Well, hold on. Let me look here. Let's see. It's 2:46 my time. So that is a let's see. No, 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 honey. No, no, no. Just trying to get the cord here. No, Trixie. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking unless someone wants to do a paid reading, I'm thinking I'm going to take off here. One question for 10, 3 questions for 25. Like I said, accurate answers. I give you guys what you're looking for. Maybe not what you want to hear all the time, but I am as honest as I can be with the cards. So if that's what you're looking for is honesty, look no further. And with that being said, you guys, I'm thinking, at least for now, that I might just take off here. But I appreciate you guys coming on here. Please like and subscribe if you guys wouldn't mind. And yeah, I might be on a little later. You be good to me, honey. I might be on a little later. And I will see you guys then, okay? So everyone take care and talk to you guys later. Have a good one, people. And watch me fumble around as I try to end the stream here.